Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zero Hour. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and of course, the big news of the week is that the president has stood up to the Republicans. The naysayers might say it's been 6 years. The positive thinkers say it was a good day. It was a good day for millions of people who will find that they are able to stay in this country legally with their children, working, participating in our society, helping the economy grow. So it was a good day for all of us. And because it was a good day for all of us, the Republicans are furious. The Republican buzzword of the day today is executive amnesty. You know, these guys are so commercialized, they're so corporate, they're so field tested and focus grouped that, you know, when you hear them all using a new phrase in one day, you know that they've had a focus group and paid a consultant hundreds of thousands of dollars to come up with it. The phrase of the day to attack the president's move on helping immigrants stay in this country legally is executive amnesty. Now, of course, when I hear the phrase executive amnesty, I think they're talking about the fact that nobody's been prosecuted on Wall Street for all the fraud committed there. But that's not what the Republicans mean. Maybe they're using the word amnesty because it harkens back to the days when Jimmy Carter extended amnesty to people who refused to participate in the Vietnam War. If so, they're counting on a very, very old demographic to support them, but then they do. Here's the thing about Republicans. Rather than come out and say that they don't want immigrants to stay in this country legally, they're trying to say that this is all about an abuse of executive power. Here's the thing. The phrase executive action, because of course the president is doing this with an executive action, that phrase has two words, executive and action. I guess the Republicans are stressing the word executive because they haven't given us any action. All their crazy talk about dictatorship ignores the fact that Saint Ronald Reagan, patron saint of today's right-wing movement, did the very same thing that President Obama did last night. Reagan took executive action to grant amnesty from deportation for undocumented immigrants. Now, some conservative tweeted out last night that Reagan's situation wasn't the same because St. Ronald was tweaking an immigration bill passed by Congress. To which I say, there was a time when Congress could actually pass an immigration bill, or any bill for that matter? Wow, so they could get things done back then. Wonder what was different between that Congress and the one we have today. Oh, yes, that's right. These idiots weren't running it. Now, what Reagan did was actually much more defiant of Congress than what Obama's done. In the 1980s, Congress specifically excluded parents from their bill, and Reagan, presumably out of a sense of decency, to be fair to him, actually overruled Congress directly in order to keep families together. But you didn't hear the crazies whining then, did you? Now, despite the obvious legality of President Obama's move, Republicans have been lining up to denounce the idea that a largely Hispanic group of immigrants will have a path to citizenship in this country. Let's see, who has weighed in so far to object to that? There's John Boehner, Speaker of the House, who said President Obama has cemented his legacy of lawlessness. There's Senator Rand Paul, who said he will, quote, not sit idly by and let the president bypass Congress and our Constitution. Jeb Bush said this move, quote, undermines all efforts to forge a permanent solution to this crisis. And Rick Santorum said it was, quote, just another in a long line of power grabs by this administration. Now, these Republicans haven't passed a bill to provide millions of hardworking immigrants with a path to citizenship. Now they don't want anyone else to do it either. Again, just to recap and sum up, let's look at the politicians who are objecting to giving these immigrants legal status in this country. There's John Boehner, whose descendants came from Germany and Ireland. There is Rand Paul, whose descendants came from Germany, Ireland, Wales, Britain, and Scotland. There's Rick Santorum, who is of Italian and Irish ancestry. And lastly, there's Jeb Bush, who is largely of English ancestry. In fact, Jeb Bush's great-great-great-great-grandfather, whose name was Thomas Bow Walker, brought many immigrants into this country himself as slaves. Bo Walker was a slave trader who made at least 11 slave trading ocean voyages. You can look it up. Don't take my word for it. By the way, I'm sure Native Americans are thinking that once again, all these newcomers think they can move in and act like they own the place. But for the record, my own background is some English, French, and Ukrainian Jewish. And my attitude is welcome, everybody. I'm glad you'll be able to stay with us. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and this is The Zero Hour.